Hello. The manor of Astley, near Nuneaton in Warwickshire, was in the hands of the Astley family almost continuously from the 12th century until the early 15th century. There was a hiatus after the Battle of Evesham in 1265, at which Sir Thomas Astley died, fighting in support of Simon de Montfort during the Barons' Revolt. Victory for Henry III led to Astley being briefly confiscated before it was returned to Sir Thomas's family. It was during the Astley's absence that the castle-like fortifications, crenellations and a moat were added to the manor. In 1338, a later Sir Thomas founded a chantry at the local parish church of St Mary. 5 years later, he rebuilt the church and expanded the chantry into a college of priests to pray around the clock for the souls of Astley's past and present. The misericords and chancel of the college have survived. The manor passed to the Grey family of Gruby, whose main base was Bradgate Park in Leicestershire. The death of Sir John Grey at the Battle of St Albans in 1461, fighting for the Lancastrian cause during the Wars of the Roses, left his wife, Elizabeth Woodville, a 24-year-old widow with 2 young sons and in danger of losing her inheritance to her mother-in-law, Elizabeth Lady Ferrers. A popular version of events tells that Elizabeth Woodville waited with her sons beneath an oak tree at Pottersbury in Northamptonshire to appeal directly to King Edward IV, who was hunting in Whittlewood Forest. Her appeal was not only successful, she caught the king's eye and they were married shortly afterwards. Remains of what is known as the Queen's Oak, little more than a blackened stump today, can still be seen east of Pottersbury Lodge. It's probable that Edward and Elizabeth had met before, but who knows, and it's a good romantic story. Interestingly, in the light of later events, Edward's marriage to Elizabeth Woodville took place in private and only became public knowledge after 3 months had passed. Edward died in April 1483, leaving his 12-year-old son by Elizabeth, Prince Edward, as his heir. The king's brother, Richard of Gloucester, acted as protector, setting in motion arrangements for the succession. Just 2 weeks before the coronation was due to take place, Robert Stillington, the Bishop of Bath and Wells, dropped a bombshell. At a meeting of the King's Council, he claimed he was witness to an earlier marriage between King Edward and Lady Eleanor Butler, making the marriage to Elizabeth Woodville bigamous and her children by Edward illegitimate. It was this announcement that opened up Richard of Gloucester's path to the throne. Elizabeth Woodville ended her days in Bermondsey Abbey. Her daughter, Elizabeth of York, married Henry VII and founded the Tudor dynasty. Lady Jane Grey, a great-granddaughter of Henry VII, was proclaimed Queen after the premature death of Edward VI in 1553 by John Dudley, Duke of Northumberland, and her father, Henry Grey, the Duke of Suffolk. With little popular support, the coup failed. Henry Grey, initially pardoned for his role in the affair, subsequently joined the unsuccessful rebellion of Sir Thomas Wyatt and was captured, reputedly hiding in the hollow trunk of an oak tree in Astley Park after being betrayed by one of his servants. The tree in question blew down in 1891. Sent to join his daughter in the Tower of London, he was convicted of high treason and executed along with his 16-year-old daughter, a reluctant queen for just 9 days. A monument to Henry Grey was put up in the grounds of Astley a little over 200 years later. Elizabeth Woodville, her daughter Elizabeth of York, and Lady Jane Grey would all have spent time at Astley. In 1600, Astley was bought by Sir Edward Chamberlain. During the Civil War, it was garrisoned for Parliament. Sir Richard Newdigate of neighbouring Arbury Hall added Astley to his family estate in 1674. In the 1770s, Sir John Astley A distant descendant of the original owners leased the castle and built stables and a coach house. In the 19th century, Astley served as a dower house and was then occupied by a succession of tenants. George Eliot, born in nearby Nuneaton, used Astley as the model for Nebley in Mrs. Gilfil's love story, one of the tales in Scenes of a Clerical Life, published in 1857. In World War II, Astley was requisitioned as a convalescent home for injured servicemen. It was in a run-down state in the 1950s when it was leased and restored as a hotel. Soon after the lease expired in 1978, it was gutted by fire and left a neglected ruin vulnerable to vandalism. A challenging restoration was expertly carried out under the auspices of the Landmark Trust. Early fabric has been preserved wherever possible and built into sympathetic new work. In 2013, the project won the prestigious RIBA Stirling Prize for Architecture. Astley Castle now has a new lease of life as a holiday let. A house with a rich past, including links with 3 Queens of England, now has a secure future after an admirable rescue operation. Next time, I'm going to look at an unusual private retreat hidden in rural South Derbyshire. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.